What is up, Evil Dead fans? I've been asked to make a video on body bolts. Now I'm going to go over the Ash vs. Evil Dead body bolts that you need to make a proper Ash vs. Evil Dead chainsaw. Now there are a couple little variants, things like that if you look at the auction photos. I'm not going to go over all those of like bolts turned backwards, things like that. Just like the standard stuff that you need to make an Ash vs. Evil Dead chainsaw. But before we get started with that, I have to talk about this, the Evil Dead 2 Necronomicon. Now, if you're part of the Knights of Samaria Facebook page, you will know that Al Giardi is taking a year off from orders from doing Ash vs. Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2s, and also the Evil Dead 1s. So whatever he's got on order right now is what he has for just a little while. But if you still want one of these covers, these lineage covers that originally came from Monster Collectors, the mold was given, traded, sold, not sure, to Chris Van Vlier on the Knights of Samaria and on the Ghost Beaters. He has a few for sale right now. So if you want to go back and get one of these covers and make your own book, find them on the Knights of Samaria Facebook page and on the Ghost Beaters Facebook page. So with that being said, let's talk about body bolts for the Ash vs. Evil Dead chainsaw. So let's start with the simplest thing to remember. The main body bolts that hold the two parts together. You need 1, 2, 3. You need 3 of those. When it comes to the Ash vs. Evil Dead home light, you have one. If you watched my video talking about this, you also get an extra one over here, so it's nice to keep a hold of that. So in reality, you'll have 2 extras, one over there and one over here, because this one will be replaced by this bolt. And what is this bolt? It is the same thing as the majority of them. It's a 5mm panhead bolt. So you'll need 13 of them. You need 2 up front, 2 right here, 2 right here, another one right there. So we're up to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then on the very bottom, 12, 13. So you need 13 5mm bolts. And you gotta make sure they are the panhead and that they do have that filleted look. They are a little skinnier than what you usually find in the US. It's not easy to find in the US. They can be found, but they're very, very hard to do. You can find a different style bolt that is standard size. I forgot what it's called. Has like a jagged end on it, but you can cut that off. You can actually rethread it to 5mm. I've done that because it actually will match the panhead. The next one we're going to talk about is this one right here. I don't know the exact size. You can find it in metric size. You can find it in standard size. It really doesn't matter because you don't see the threads and you don't see the nut, because a standard nut is differently sized from a metric one. This should be all metric, except for this one's the exception. You can change it, and also with these, like I said, you can find the standard size. You can rethread into 5mm if you have to do that. But the one thing you want to look for, once you have these panheads down here, this one is bigger. It's not hugely bigger, but it is quite a bit larger than these. So you gotta remember that one's bigger. It is also a panhead bolt. Now another one right here, you can see, well, this is a 5mm panhead. It is the same size, but this is actually a screw. You can find this at any hardware department. If you're in the US, it won't be hard to find. Finding screws with panheads like that, very easy. That is one look that they use. Here is also one substitute right here. They also did put a few of these on a couple of them. So it's kind of up to you on the look you want. Now right here we have 2 more screws. These are Phillips head screws, and you gotta have them something similar to the one I just showed you. You see how it's kind of wider in the middle, kind of more open? That's the look you want. This one isn't the same, it's too tall. These ones are a little bit skinnier, a little more flat, and that's the look you want. You don't want something too bulbous like this. If you want to get not so picky, you can use this, but I get to be a little bit picky sometimes. And something a little more flat, not so much a panhead, but something just a little bit more flat. Now let's talk about these front ones. They're also Phillips heads, basically the same as these. These ones are actually bolts instead of screws like you see over there, because these actually hold on a bracket. Now if you have a different bracket configuration, just make sure you put these on for a look. It's kind of up to you on how you do your own chainsaw on the inside, but I do use those spots for brackets to hold the bar on. So you do want those Phillip head style bolts. Just make sure they're not bigger than your 5mm. That's a good way of knowing. So make sure you get your 5mm first before you compare sizes to these. It makes it a lot easier. Another look you can go for is this one right here. That is a nut, and that is a hex head bolt. That's a 4mm bolt. You can go with that look, that is correct. But you can also go with a different look. This, the original screws. You can go with those. Those were also used. So it's kind of up to you on that look as well. Now, one option you have is to leave this open like this. Now, if you want like the running look, which I've done that before, the running look or the lightweight carbon look, there's also another pan head right here for a bracket. It's another pan head bolt. So you can go with that too. It's kind of up to you. You want to leave it like this or put a bolt in there. It's kind of up to you. I prefer the clean look. That's why I decided on that. And lastly, the carriage bolts. Now, these are metric carriage bolts. What size are they? It does not matter on the bolt size. The head size matters. Now, I don't know exactly. Now, in my Ace Hardware where I get them, now they have like a small, medium, and large. These ones are medium. A good way to know if it's the right size, get a 1-inch dowel that's at the hardware store, put it up against it. If it's like that, it's right. So just worry about the head size. Now, if you're wanting to bolt them through the bottoms and connect and stuff, it's kind of up to you. I don't do that. And I've showed that in my past videos. It's kind of pointless. If you have a super adhesive glue, something that's industrial, this will never come off. These are all glued in. They won't pop off. So these have to be metric because the head sizes are different from standard versus metric. This is like in between size. The head size is in between size from standard. So you got to get that middle size. If you're at Ace Hardware, that middle size carriage bolt, metric head size, and it'll fit on the top like that. So there it is, the body bolts for the Ash vs. Evil Dead chainsaw. Now, before I let you go, I need to let you know that when we were filming the Rest in Peace episodes 7 and 8, the guys who were here, they saw a skit or a short I did that was supposed to make YouTube, but I didn't put it on YouTube. They said I should release it. It's a skit if I was on a show similar to Mountain Men or one of those, backwoods shows where everybody looks like, they live in the, 1700s or 1800s or whatever. So I'm gonna show you guys that right now. And also, if you haven't watched the Rest in Peace Aftermath episode, which is the aftermath after episode 7 and 8, go back and watch it. There is a conclusion to it and also what to look for in season 2. So with that being said, God bless everybody and stay groovy.
On this episode of Mountain Guys, we head to Montana where we meet a man named Brett who races against time and nature to build something for his family that they direly need before the winter frost hits the Montana ground. This is Mountain Guys.
So yeah, my wife, she has a lot of shoes and things like that, and we got a ton of board games that she says we need to put on a shelf or something, so I'm gonna build a shelf today.
There is no technology in the harsh Montana mountains. They play board games to pass the time.
No, we do have technology out here. I have a TV. I have a TV. Let me show you my TV.
A non-smart TV owned by Montanans. They don't have streaming at the drop of a dime. They also have a record player / CD player, wishing they could hear the sounds of the top 10 hits today.
Okay, so we're getting ready to get started, and I got all the wooden stuff over here, and then we got it's gonna be a busy day, so I got my piss cup over here.
Since most Montana homes don't have inside plumbing, the piss cup is used and filled daily and dumped at the end of the night.
No, that's just a piss cup. I'm just too lazy to go in the house. I'm gonna be busy all day, so yeah.
Montanans used to piss into a jar, let it ferment and harden up to create a candle, what the locals call man wax.
That's not how candles are made. Don't know where you found it. Don't know what it is. How about you give it a lick and find out?
Montanans often lick things to find out their origin and exactly what they are.
No, that is not true.
Living in Montana is never easy. As the shelf is being built, trying to beat the first frost on the ground, a catastrophic event has happened that may halt the entire build.
Man, I broke a bit. Jeez, I gotta find a replacement.
In Montana, to order a drill bit to pilot a hole may take weeks or even months to receive. Brett needs to find the right size drill bit to finish the project before the first frost of the winter.
Well, I broke a bit, but I have a ton of them, so I should be able to find a replacement. If not, I'll just have to go to Home Depot.
Fortunately, Brett has found the proper bit to continue the shelf build, to store his children's games, and his wife's wet shoes in the winter. In Montana, his wife walks 1 mile down to a creek bed to scoop water into a bucket, so his family has water during the winter.
That is not true.
But one major problem has happened.
Well, the shelf didn't turn out as planned. Kind of fucked that up.
As the shelf lies in pieces, Brett realizes there's no place for them to store their wet boots or board games.
Not a big deal. I'll just build one later. I'll just put the shoes where in the closet where I've been putting them every year that we've had boots, and the board games can just stay just in the spare bedroom again. You think? Are you trying to depict that we literally like eat from hay bales and wait till it rains and drink from a puddle? Is that what you're thinking?
As the Montana winter closes in, Brett's walk-in closet will be filled with wet boots and shoes, and their guest bedroom stacked with board games. With a disappointed look on his face, his son tries to figure out this new technology called a cellular phone. On the next episode of Mountain Guys, woods, more woods, animals, even more woods, and more animals.